Hello everyone, welcome to my podcast, The Pondering Vista. Today our guest is Mr. Shriroop Roychoudhary. He's a software developer at a multinational financial services company and is an all-rounder in life. He is one of the calmest yet the buffest guys I know. Join us as we take a walk through what Shriroop thinks about his college life, about friend circles, how he remains calm in every situation, how he is dealing with collaborating with project mates from different time zones, why we listen to influencers rather than take advice from the elders in the family, and many other things. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Shriroop Roychoudhary. Hello, Shriroop.
Hi, Akshay. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing great. How are you? How is the
I'm
things there? Everything
I'm
good?
I'm good. I'm good. Things are all good. How they're supposed to be pretty relaxing, get away from the everyday usual hustle bustle.
Yeah,
But yeah, feels good. Feels good to be back home any day.
nice, nice. Yeah, let's start with the big ones. What do you
Yes.
how do you make of your college life, and what would your conversation with your first year self, the guy who just entered the college, the Shrirup that just entered the college, if you got a chance to meet him, how would
Okay.
that conversation go with him?
All right. So starting with the first part of the question, what do I make of my college life? So college life was a real roller coaster for me. We were always told that yes, NITs are one of the highest qualities of institutions present in India, and I do agree they definitely are. But what makes them the highest quality of what they are is the students. With all due respect to the faculty, to everyone out there, but it's just the students what really defines a college, because I really made good friends. The biggest example being you. I got to learn a lot from them than my actual classroom teaching and classroom studying and learning. So definitely made a lot of memories, good memories. A few ones which I didn't want to make, but yeah, they are always a part of what actually goes on. And Yeah, that's how I would like to sum it up. A real roller coaster, but a very fun roller coaster to be on. So to answer the second part of the question, which is the first year me. So the first year me and the me now, they're literally two different people. I'll just put it out there. They're two different people. First year when I entered, I was someone who was really confused that what's going on. Did I put myself? And I was very shy. Not a person who would go out and speak to anyone randomly. Right now, what I do. So a lot of confidence that has built in over the years. That's what has happened, and the only thing that has helped me to build that confidence is meeting new people and just learning new stuff randomly. The inquisitive me has just built that. So that's me. I never thought I would have this version of me, but thankfully, yes, I do. And all the credit is because of the exposure that I've had all these 4 years.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, the roller coaster thing is, yeah, I mean, that's just how life goes, right? Peaks and
Exactly.
dispeaks.
Definitely. Peaks and dispeaks is something I'll never forget because this lingo, I have picked it up from you.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the thing you told about how you've learned a lot from your friends group, and even more than what you've learned from your lecturers and stuff. So
Yeah.
I've asked this question, somewhat similar question to my last guest also. How
Okay.
do you actually distinguish between a good friends group and a bad friends group? I mean, what I mean by bad friends group isn't like a collection of a bad people. It's just that
Okay.
you're like not able to vibe with them, but at the same time, going into a different environment for the first time, there is like this 800 new people you are meeting, and there will
Right.
be that urge to settle down into your tribe, to find and settle down into your tribe.
Hmm.
So you project yourself
Yeah.
as someone who you're not, and then you're like, maybe let's say, for example, I was introvert.
Correct.
So, and I try to express myself as an extrovert so that I don't get left behind in the college, because that's the start of a new thing. So when I
Right.
try to do that, I end up in certain like extroverty gangs, which are
Hmm.
not necessarily
Right.
my type and my gang, and end up draining my energy and not being a somewhat of a correct match for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So how did you in your college life kind of track that thing where you kept away the energy draining people and were able to move towards the energy giving people?
Right. So for me, I in general, I'm a person who takes time to open up, be it anywhere, wherever I am, or whatever group of people I'm hanging out with. Because the time I take to open up, it's always me analyzing internally that if I would really fit in with the group. Now, the definition of fit in would be that the way I function. If the group of people, they function in a very similar way, if the likes and dislikes are very similar, the things they do and I do, are they similar, or they do a bit extra which I would like to do in the near future? Is it something like that? So if all of this is a yes, or somewhat in between, I would definitely go for it. So the 1.5 2 months, yeah, I do take a lot of time. So it's always in months. The 1.5 2 months that I take to open up, this is what I really think. I mean, during the day I might be hanging out with a group of people, but during the evening or the time I'm all myself, I do think that, okay, is this right? Is this what I do and what they do? Is it very similar? If it's a yes, and if everything is genuine, then definitely I would get into that and would mingle more with those people and would want to learn more. So definitely the level of intellect is something which I always look out for. I don't want to have stupid conversations all the time. Stupid conversations sometimes is very necessary, but stupid conversations all the time makes nothing out of it. So that intellect level has to be there, followed by numerous other characteristics that I look for. If everything is a yes, then I don't hesitate even 1% to mingle with the friend group and continue. And my friend groups and my friendships with people are like lifelong. All my friendships that I have had in school, they continue today, and all the friendships that I have started in college and people I've found in college, they continue to go on for life. So that's how I want it to be. It's not like I want to know people for few months and then forget them. That's not how I function, and I also don't like that in some ways. But sometimes you're forced to do that because I'm a human being and everyone is a human being, and you end up making mistakes at times. So when that happens, unfortunately, you have to let go a person or a group of people and just continue with your people. So yeah, that's how the definition goes for me.
Mhm. I liked your one of the thoughts that you look for something similar that you are doing, if they are also doing, and something that they are doing extra that you would want to do. That growth potential where the friends group is kind of pulling you up
Correct.
in the growth perspective. Yeah,
Definitely.
that's kind of beautiful. So, and
Yes.
you, from what I know, you personally, you don't really have that kind of that necessity. I don't think you feel that necessity to fit in with a new group, or you don't really change yourself all that much. You are like one of
Correct.
the calm persons in even in like a very hazardous or like a mixed up situations. Yeah. So recently, I kind of came across this thought experiment.
I
So
see.
let's say you accumulate like the top players, top
Hmm.
athletes of top 50 games, whatever they might be, like the
Okay.
top cricketer, top footballer, top rugby player. You get them all
Hmm.
together and you have them, you rank those players from 1 to whatever. Who is the top player among those 50 is what the experiment is
Okay.
about. And how you judge that
Okay.
is basically you make the cricket player play all the other 49 games.
I see.
And yeah, so you basically make them play the other games and judge them based on that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
I there was yeah, so recently I came across this thought experiment that what if you replace the players here with emotions. So let's say there is
Mhm.
angry, there is happy, there is jealousy, or yeah, so all the emotions are clubbed together. And if what emotion would be the top one that you would want to have always, like,
Mhm.
yeah, so the answer that
Right.
the guy came up with was calmness.
Mhm.
So calmness is
Okay.
like such an underrated and like a base state almost. Yeah, it was George Mack.
Okay.
So
I see.
yeah, so it's like a base state. It basically wins over everything. Like, see,
Mhm.
any situation you can possibly imagine, being calm in that situation can't possibly be a bad thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
there
Right.
may be like situations where being happy might be like a wrong thing to do, or
Mhm.
maybe situations where being angry is the wrong thing to do. But
Mhm.
being calm never goes out of fashion, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
Yeah. I do believe with that. Calmness is always the solution to everything. It sometimes it's not a problem. Sometimes it can be a normal situation. But if someone is calm, they're always headed towards the right direction. And when you have calm, you give yourself more time to think about something. So I always try to exhibit that because it gives your brain the extra it gives you that your brain the environment to think quietly and take the right decision instead of jumping to conclusions by taking the wrong one. And in a way it does reduce a lot of stress when in any situation, if it's anger or a lot of excitement where you're maybe laughing a lot for a long time, or you're angry and shouting for a very long time, that it does induce stress into your body. So no one wants extra stress into their bodies because you're going through something or the other every day. So the best solution to anything is always calmness, and I do agree with that quote that you've put forward, and that experiment is something I would like to read about again. But
Mhm.
yeah, thank you for putting that forward.
Yeah, calmness kind of like broadens your analytical vision or like mental vision. If you're like
That's right.
angry, it just narrows down your vision to just that one problem or that one cause upon which you're angry or upon which you're happy or sad, whatever. So calmness
Right.
just gives you back your analytical power to think through this thing and
Hmm.
be in the thing. So I always wonder, like, I mean, my potato brain was never really thinking about all this until recently. So is
Yep.
this staying calm and being calm in various situations, is this something you do
Hmm.
consciously, or is this something that you built up the brain muscle memory thing that just takes over and lets you be calm?
Yeah, so till a certain age, right? I mean, yeah, throughout I was calm, but the intensity of calmness has just gone up with all these years. Till maybe grade 10, grade 11, I would stress myself a lot with anything and everything. But then slowly I did read about this, that how calmness is just a solution to everything. And I take a lot of inspiration of this habit from MS Dhoni.
Hmm.
So that's something I've always admired. And Unconsciously, I would say it has crept into me. Unconsciously, I've tried to put that into myself. But whenever it happens right now, it is not conscious. It is just muscle memory. It is just how I function. That sometimes you see me emotionless,
Hmm.
and that's because I'm calm. That's because I am thinking that what's actually going on and what actually next needs to be done. And that's why sometimes I'm very emotionless, because I'm just sitting there having fun but not expressing much, and that's how I am. So I would say it's muscle memory at this point of time, but from the very start, some part of it was there in me, but I've just induced more and more over the years, and right now it's just things happen automatically inside me. Calmness just comes out like that. Doesn't mean I don't get angry. I do, and when I do get angry, that's it. the there is nothing that can save it, but that's only for extreme cases. But mostly, my solution to anything is just calmness.
Hmm. True, mastery over one's emotions is a pretty important thing
Yes,
that one can achieve. Yeah. So
correct,
also,
correct.
the thing you are telling about appearing emotionless, even if you are like feeling emotions, you are kind of suppressing them and trying to put a
Mhm.
cool, calm face forward.
Yep, yep.
Has that ever backfired? Like, when someone is going through something, or someone comes and tells you about some stuff, or something is happening, and they look towards you, and you are just like
Mhm.
this resting bitch face.
Yeah, multiple times, multiple
Uh-huh.
times. More than a negative situation, it has always happened in a positive situation. Like everyone's having fun, everyone's laughing a lot, everyone is doing something, and I'm having fun over there, just looking at people and absorbing in everything. That's fun for me, and maybe I'm having a slight smile on my face, but not as much as people are laughing out there. And then people come up to me and they're like, "Are you not having fun?" But actually, I'm having fun. That's the way I have fun, where I am not jumping and dancing or doing anything, but I'm having fun. I'm smiling and just I'm over there. So it has happened multiple times with me. One or two times it has happened with me where someone's going through something, and I do have that words of affirmation, but it's not on my face, because emotions is something that doesn't come out of me that easily. It takes a lot to come out, be it a happy or a sad moment. It takes a lot to come out of come I mean, to express myself physically, but internally it's happening, but for some reason it just doesn't come to my face. I have that resting bitch face that you just said. I do have that most of the time, but yeah, at times when people are that's genuinely, I'm very happy, I'm smiling. That when I'm smiling a lot and laughing a lot, that means I'm like very, very, very happy. Like that's the max level of happy I can ever be. But apart from that, I do enjoy just keeping a calm face and enjoying everything.
Have you ever put on a fake laughing and fake expressions just to satisfy the other person? Be like, ah, by lady, I am happy. No, see,
uh No, I mean, that only happens when I want to get out of that situation.
ah,
Like
okay.
if I'm in a hurry, or if I don't want to be a part of that conversation, I want to end that topic very quick. Maybe the person is trying to be funny. I just give them that smile, and it's satisfaction for them also, that they succeeded in telling whatever they wanted, or if they wanted to make me smile or laugh, I did laugh or smile, and it's over for me. For me, that's a way of telling that, okay, I'm done with this conversation, let's move on to the next one. Apart from that, I don't really care about making others happy or whatever it is. Like if I do understand it, I do understand it. If not, maybe I would ask you to repeat. If not that, I would just want to move to the next topic. It's like that for me. I would never fake an expression just to make the other person happy.
Hmm. Nice, nice.
Yes.
Yes, so let's kind of switch gears and talk about little corporate. I mean, I know you are you're working with a lot of remote guys, like people who are not in your time
Correct.
zone. and
Yep.
it kind of obviously causes some problems.
Yes.
And
So
yeah, so what problems other than the sleep schedule that get messed up? What other problems do you think you're facing right now because of the time difference?
To be honest, I never compromise on the sleep schedule. If I'm working up late, maybe 11:30, 12. If I'm supposed to wake up by 8 o'clock next morning, I would definitely delay that 8 o'clock to 8:45 because I worked a bit late. So no
Mm,
compromise in sleep in general, but I would say that you know how my schedule is like going to the
mm,
gym in the evening. I would like to spend a half an hour extra in the gym, but I'm always in a hurry that I have to leave the gym by 6:40 and be home by 6:50, 55 because I have a 7 o'clock meeting.
mm,
So all these things, you're not able to complete your daily routine. I would
mm,
put it out like that. More than the sleep schedule, your daily routine in the evening gets hampered a bit, but you have not much control over it. You just have to go with the flow and function like that because work's important at the end of the day.
true.
So no issues with sleep schedule. The initial week gets a bit hectic when you're trying to fit in all your things in that schedule when you have a series of evening calls
Mm,
week or two, but after that it just becomes normal. But the only thing that gets frustrating at times are extended calls and last moment calls when they're not scheduled.
mm,
And that time you might have scheduled, I like to schedule my day. So I might have scheduled that part of the time to maybe eat, maybe talk to my family, maybe watch something. So that gets hampered and things get delayed. And I'm a bit particular about time. I don't mind 10-15 minutes here and there. But if something's like 1 hour beyond schedule, that's what really hampers me because everything gets delayed by 1 hour.
mm,
So yeah, that's something difficult to have control over. Again, you just tell yourself, okay, today is just the day, let it be. You don't do one thing, it's fine. So yeah, pluses and minuses, that's how you have to deal with it. But apart
mm.
from that, it's okay.
Okay. That last one more set and that last one abs workout you are not able to complete in the
Yes,
gym.
yes.
Yeah. And
That get yeah.
uh, yeah, so there is also this the work that I do. It's like I go like switch into work
Mhm,
mode, work, get out
mhm.
of work mode, and I'm done for the day. Working is done for the day. But for you,
Right,
it's like a on off thing with
correct.
calls and other things. So uh,
Correct.
is that taxing on your brain to be doing that context shift every 3 hours or so? To be like, yeah,
Uh,
I'm in like a gym now. I'll hit this much, do this, and I have to eat
yeah.
this, and you're thinking about something and how your triceps are like, the long head is more pumped or something, and then you're back and you
Mhm.
just have to be like in this work mode and thinking about what the project is and what the calls are about, what the manager is expecting, what your teammate is expecting.
Right.
So does that
So,
put a pressure on you, or how is that context switching affecting you?
so more than pressure, yeah, context switching is difficult because let's bring that example back. That 6:40, you leave the gym, 6:50, 55, you enter the room, and instead of drinking water, you unlock your door and you have to switch on your laptop.
Hmm.
So, and then just get into that mode. So you forget drinking water, you forget having your protein. The first action is understanding what's actually happening over there. So context switching is definitely very difficult because morning you go, you work, you come back, go to the gym again, you work. So what I normally keep myself relaxed, I've set this timing of 3:34 to be my last working hour. The last set of work I should be doing is between 3:34. Beyond 4 o'clock, I shouldn't be working because when I go back, I have my own routine, and again I have to come back to this routine after a few hours. So I switch off my day working schedule a bit earlier so that I don't feel that extra pressure that, okay, I just worked 2 hours back and now I'm back to working. So I just lie to my brain, or it's just a method to lie to my brain saying that, okay, you had that extra break. Now let's get back to work.
Mm.
But again, that's just a way of lying to your brain. But the actual physical stress that you have to go through is a bit more. But yeah, again, you can't do anything much about it.
True, true. Do you know the expression "eat your frog early in the morning"?
No, I'm not aware of this.
I think that is the expression unless I butcher it. So the thing is, let's say you have to eat a frog today. Like
Okay.
you woke up and you know that you have to eat the frog today. As soon as you wake up, you are aware of this information, and you can eat it
Okay.
anytime during the day. It doesn't have to be as soon as you wake up, or and there is no conditions. You can eat it anytime you want. But it
Okay.
is still a frog, and you have to eat it. So
Okay.
the question is, what time would you want to eat it?
Hmm.
Yeah. So when you think about
Okay.
it, you could either eat it the first thing when you wake up in the morning, or any time after that.
Correct.
So when you eat any time after that, what happens is there is a anticipation or like this hesitance until the moment you eat the frog. Let's say you eat it at 2 o'clock. So till 2 o'clock
Okay.
you are like, oh, I have to eat the frog, I have to eat the frog, I have to eat the frog. And then
Mm-hmm.
at two o'clock you have to actually eat the frog.
Mm-hmm.
So till 2 o'clock
Mm-hmm.
also you are kind of having that lingering thought of eating the frog that is kind of making you suffer.
Correct.
And at 2 o'clock
Correct.
you have to actually eat it. So that's again suffering. So what they say is,
Right.
clear of the hard tasks on your schedule first thing in the morning, so that the rest of your day
You don't
kind of
have to.
becomes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Understood.
like coming, kind of painting it back to your situation, uh,
Hmm.
when you have like work after the gym, I don't think you would be able to kind of unwind after your 4 o'clock, like at your 4 o'clock break
Hmm.
completely, knowing that you'll having
Yeah.
to, eventually shift back to this mode. That lingering thought, even
Correct.
when you're in gym working out or prepping for it or watching something in meanwhile during the break, I think that
Mm-hmm.
that part is still, running in the back of your head. That demon is running back in the back of your head.
Yes. Yeah. Very well put, and agree. Yes, it's always like that.
Yeah, true, true. Yeah, so let's kind of. Okay, yeah, there's one more thing I want to ask. Actually, what do you think are the solutions for this? Like, I'm pretty sure yours is like a very, still a better condition
Hmm.
than many other guys who are working with,
Rest.
yeah, they're like be having to wake up till 4 o'clock and then get up in the morning and come to office at 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think,
Solution.
like, as a system solution? Like, I'm just thinking about the whole enterprise thing. Like, let's say you have a big enterprise that spans across time
Mm-hmm.
spans. What kind
Mm-hmm.
of solutions that come up to your mind?
So I feel, um, I mean, the simplest way to put this is people should have access to their work from anywhere and whatever device they want. If something comes to their mind at 1 o'clock in the morning, or say 12 o'clock in the morning, and it's someone's, say, evening, all right. And when this idea, you will wait till your morning and I mean the other person's working hour. So there's a lot of time, and the other person's working hour is going to be very odd when you convey your idea.
Mm,
So let's have a portal, maybe, and which is accessible from anywhere, and maybe just put a note out there so that the person is mentally prepared for whatever is about to happen. And this can be elaborated more, maybe on a recorded video call, on a recorded voice note, or just have an email chain, right? Not everything needs a call.
mm,
Let's just have a portal where you can record your own video with the screen, so that it's easier for the other person to understand when they are up and it's their normal working hour, rather than having it on odd hours. and let there be only voice recording. So what I mean to say is Teams or Meets, or sorry, Teams or WhatsApp kind of situation only for work, where you're able to record things and put it on the basis of task. So it's a mixture of Teams and Jira tickets, if you
Mm.
understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So so in that way, the other person doesn't have to spend a lot of time in an odd hour understanding what has to be done and what has happened or what is the issue.
Mm.
The person already knows what's wrong, maybe has a solution, and maybe the call will happen. Eventually, the call is required, maybe, but instead of a 1 hour 45 minutes, 1 hour 30 minutes call, it might be just a 10-15 minutes call where the other person shows the solution and they sign off.
Mm.
So maybe something like this would help in the long run. I might be wrong, but yeah, this is how I would approach the
To
issue.
kind of reframe it, kind of have the communication, non-call communication beforehand to set up the context and the environment between both of them, so that on the call there is only like the core of the meeting discussed, without the overhead and
Correct.
the tail part.
Correct.
And
Not a lot of time is wasted on
correct.
auxiliary stuff.
Correct. And just to, like, kind of clear this up, so you can't move
Hmm.
all the people who are working on the project to one place, because the project is
Correct.
accessible to everybody over the world. So there are
Yep.
people, the customers are in different time zones. So if something goes wrong, you need people everywhere to be awake, so that the customers can directly interact with your team. And
Yes.
also, what
Hmm.
this might be like, there might be like a lot of loopholes in this, but what I think is, you have some sort of a credit system. Basically, you either do decremental or incremental, doesn't matter. So
Hmm.
you have, let's say you have like 10 credits. So for
Okay.
calling each person, you need to spend so many credits outside their working hours. So let's say if I want to call you
Oh,
outside your working hours, I have to like
right.
spend 2 credits or something. So
Mm-hmm.
the number of calls will get very much restricted, and people don't end up calling you for, hey, how do I open ChatGPT portal, or some stupid question like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This could be a solution, correct? Yeah, but I think enterprise will be mostly hesitant to adopt this, because in that case, people in the other part of the world, they won't be able to do anything. So anything, as in definitely everything happens in collab. But
Correct.
yeah, they would require we would require them, and they would require us in I mean multiple times during the day. But this is a good solution where unnecessary calls or requests can be eliminated.
Hmm. Or you just keep do this as an incremental counter. Like, let's say if I want to call you, I
Hmm.
get like 2 credits added to my thing, and at the end of the month or end of a quarter, you can just, the manager or someone can just skim through the details and see who who is requesting more calls, and if it was actually needed, or you know are there being redundant calls being made, and the productivity is getting lower, some stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, this is a solution that can be pitched. Yep.
Yeah, so that I was thinking. Yeah, so totally different, more away from corporate part. So we are talking about
Yes.
something different now. Yeah, so
Yep.
the when we were younger, elders tell you stuff. Okay, hey, don't do this. Wake up early in the morning. Everything will get sorted. Sleep early in the night. You have to do this, that, and then you are like, why should I do that? And they're like, that's how it is. The elders have told us you should do it,
Yep.
should follow the rules, and then you become that, the kid who is not going to listen to anybody and becomes a rebel.
Hmm.
And suddenly one day you are listening to some random podcast, and this guy, Dr. Andrew Huberman, comes up and says you have to spend 15 minutes of your time in sunlight, and you suddenly get up and start walking in the sunlight. And he
Hmm.
says you shouldn't be exposed to more artificial light at night, and then you shut down your phone early and shut down your devices early and then go to sleep early. So the 8 hours sleep is
Mm,
required, and then you end up doing that. So the advices given by your elders and well, Andrew Huberman are like kind of same.
mm,
By Andrew
yep.
Huberman, I mean like all the podcasters,
Any,
gurus,
yeah.
yeah, everybody.
Mm,
So even though they are kind of the same, what kind of compels the youth to follow the latter than their own family members? What do you think is
uh,
the difference here? This is happening, right? This is like fact.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Could you bring that question back again? Or what? Okay, I just lost you for a second over there.
Yeah. Like when you're a young kid, your mom would be like,
Mm,
wake up early, go out, and you know, uh,
yeah, I
go out
I
for a
understand.
walk
Yeah.
for this thing, and then you are like,
Mm,
no, why would I do that? I have video games in my room. I'll play that, and I'll
mm,
be doing this, and I'll stay up till night. And then some random day
mm,
you're listening to some podcast, and Andrew Huberman says you have to spend 15 minutes of your day in sunlight, and you should reduce
mm.
artificial light and night because
Correct.
you have to sync your circadian cycle and stuff,
Yeah.
and then you end up actually following those things. So, what kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
sets these people apart, and what makes the youth listen to them rather than their own family members?
So what I feel is how our brain functions is we would always want to listen to someone who is way successful or has a name established in whatever they're doing, right?
Hmm.
So for someone listening to this any podcaster, okay, this podcaster has insane fame, and whatever they have said has actually changed people's life, and how we know that is from the comment section.
Hmm.
So your brain starts functioning like that. You want to listen to the person because it has changed significant number of lives, and you also want to bring some enhancement in your life. So you're like, okay, from today whatever this person says, I'm going to listen to them. While when it is your own family member, you do listen to them once, twice, thrice, and after a time you're like, okay, this I'm being told a lot. Maybe there's something else that is true, and that's I think that's how the mentality is, or how everyone functions. And someone with online fame, their words will have more weight than anyone else. Be it your teacher, be it your elders, be it anyone else. That's how the world functions, and that's how we function and I function. Sometimes I've been told things before, but I've not taken that seriously. But later, when I watch it on a reel or on a YouTube video, I'm like, damn, this is actually true. Since this has changed lives, let me also try it. So I feel it's just the how a person's reputation is, and how the human brain actually functions.
There's a stack of proof that he has that this thing works, that is
Correct.
being enforced by the comment section and all the fame that he's getting. So
Mm.
that's what you think is. Do you think his own kid would listen to him if he was telling him directly?
Definitely no. If he or she is a kid, they would not, because that's how kids again function. But later on, when they come back to all these intellectual videos, they will be like, "Damn, yeah, this is what it is, and I should be following it."
Mm. Yeah, this is a pretty different perspective than what I have. I have a take on this.
Mm-hmm.
So what my take is usually when some the kids never say like I don't want to do that. They just ask why. Uh,
Mm.
you shouldn't do this. The immediate impulsive question is why, and it's not like I won't
Okay.
do it. So
Uh-huh.
usually there is no answer to why other than like because that's what our elders have told us, or that's how it's been passed on, or that's the tradition that you have to be doing. But
Mm-hmm.
with someone like Andrew Huberman, he like
Mm.
actually sits and explains as to what happens if you don't spend 15 minutes of your day in out in sunlight, or what happens if you sleep late and consume a lot of content during the night and stuff like that. Like he actually explains what happens in the brain and what hormones gets released and how it's actually hindering your performance. So
I see.
I think uh, even though that is a very compelling argument that his proof of his theory working by the virtue of his followers and the amount of people that are listening to him. I also
Mm.
think that because he explains as to why it is true and has a very scientific background, the scientific angle which through which he comes at the problem, kind of
Okay.
makes compels everybody to follow it or something.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so
Yeah, that's a
that's my.
fair take on that. I think that's also perspective which makes good sense to the question asked. Yeah, I do agree again.
Yeah. So Jordan Peterson in some recent podcast was telling about
Mm-hmm.
why you shouldn't lie.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a very kind of a big thing in my this thing. Like I've heard a lot of you shouldn't lie and this and that, and I was always under this impression that I mean, if it's helping you, why not? So, but
Yep.
what he kind of says is when you're lying, you're not just lying to the third party or the second,
Person.
yeah, the person that's
Mm-hmm.
in front of you. You're also kind of lying to yourself about the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of messes with
Mm-hmm.
your mind and your perception of the world. So
I see.
most of the perception of the world is like very less of what actually happens, and mostly it's about what story you tell yourself about that event. So let's say
Right.
like you have a there's a cookie at the on the kitchen table, and you come back from gym and you feel like eating the cookie, and you're like, I've been pretty
Uh-huh.
strict on my diet, and everything is going fine, I can have the cookie, one cookie won't hurt much, and you have the cookie. And the having the cookie in the long run, knowing you as a person who is pretty strict on diet and stuff, won't really
Yeah.
hurt your growth or cut whatever you're trying to do. But
Mm-hmm.
the mentality that let you have a cookie and the story you tell
Mm.
yourself that I am the kind of person who will, cheat on my diet to just have a cookie.
Correct.
Yeah, so that kind of writes a narrative in your head about yourself that next time you see a
Mm-hmm.
cookie, there won't be much of an
Mm.
inner monologue. It would be just a given that yeah, I mean
Just
there is a cookie.
correct.
I can have it. No
Correct.
biggie. Yeah, or
Yep.
like yeah, I mean I hit the snooze button on alarm. That's how I am.
Mm.
No big deal. And that's how you kind
Right.
of spiral down the thing, and that's what like when you lie to yourself, it kind of rewrites your
Right.
brain to that image of you. The neuroplasticity
Right.
is
Right.
very real.
I see. I see.
Yeah,
Yeah. Fair thinking. Yeah. That actually happens. I I do experience it
yeah. So
pretty normally. Yeah.
mm, so something like whatever I just blabbered on for some time just now,
Right.
the
Mm.
key takeaway you take from this is don't lie.
Correct.
That is the key takeaway. If you don't lie,
Correct.
it's all first class, good.
It's all,
Yeah.
yeah, all good. Right.
But yeah, so but when our parents or elders are telling us don't lie, it will be like this. So I think that
Mm.
the 2 to 3 minute explanation that was required was not given, and I think that is why most of the advice or like the good talk that should be passed down is kind of, I think, being ignored, and people are just hopping on social media trends and then being like, yeah, that is good,
Mm.
this is bad. And I mean, yeah, sure,
Yes.
like I've just quoted a couple of really smart and high heavy thinkers like
Okay.
Andrew Berman and John Peterson, but of
Correct.
course there is like a billion other YouTubers or Instagram or whatever content creators that just make stuff up and put it out for people to watch. There's not much of
Mm-hmm.
a filter that's like, oh, are you qualified enough to put this out? No, I mean, I can put out whatever I want. So
Right.
yeah, it coming from your own parents and elders is very good. Given that they are
Mm-hmm.
able to give that explanation on, I think would be like the ideal situation.
Situation of actually. Yeah.
Um,
Right. Right.
and also, what do you think when we become old, our next generation would be
Mm-hmm.
listening to us, or do you think they'll also be like, what are you telling?
Uh, that's a difficult one to answer. I feel again, some of them will, some of them won't. Hopefully they do, but if I had one yes or no answer, I would say no.
Uh, uh, that's still,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, I guess the enough brain power isn't there to comprehend what we are actually kind of trying to tell. True. I mean, now that I
Mm-hmm.
think about it, whatever I'm telling now, even if I told this to some 4 years younger me, like,
Correct.
yeah,
Yeah, you would
I
not.
don't think I would be like, What is this guy
Yeah,
telling now?"
exactly.
Yeah, just
Exactly. That's the
closest
point.
thing. True. I think
Yeah, yeah.
until life comes and slaps you and be like, "Bruh," and only
Yeah.
then you like pick up your shit and start being like, "Oh yeah, I see how it is."
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. That's how it is. And yeah, I mean, same situation, right? Again, if someone else comes and tells you that in a party you're sitting, someone comes and tells you, some old dude, that dude, listen, this is right, that's wrong. You would be like, no.
Mm.
Number one, the place is wrong. Most of the time, when things are being told to someone, it's always the wrong situation or the wrong place. The
Ooh.
other person is not in that mind frame to take any of that you say knowledge or whatever is being told to him or her. They would not want to listen that because they're not in the right not in the right place maybe. So if the place is right, if the situation is right, and the person is told the right thing, only then they tend to hear. They follow it or not, that's secondary, but hearing is first. Most of us, we don't want to hear only. We just say yes, 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 and let it go. But if we start understanding that if the other person is ready to listen and it's the right place, the right time, right environment, then yes, it will bring some change, or at least some information that you want to tell to the other person, they would listen.
Mm. This is actually very good. The
Yeah,
main reason that I have basically picked up on a lot of this is because when I'm actually listening to these guys, it's voluntary. Like I actually plug into their
yeah.
stuff and listen because I want to learn about things. But yeah, that makes
Mm.
sense. You like force
Yes,
feeding you
yes.
knowledge and wisdom doesn't
Correct.
really work out.
Most of the time it is always forced, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
That's why people don't want to actually follow it.
Hmm. Uh, you do you know the story of Radha and Krishna?
Yes, I am aware of it.
Okay, so you know how like when Krishna was born and Radha was born, and it was like
Mhm.
spoiler, like they end up together and stuff. So it's
Correct.
like kind of decided ki she's ending up with him and he's ending up with her. That
Mm.
like as a third party viewing the story, that removes a lot of decision fatigue. Like
Mm-hmm.
Krishna didn't have to actually go look for his girl or do all the shit. He knew like Radha is it.
Right.
You kind of pick up what I'm
Yeah.
trying. Yeah. So
Yes. Yes.
in like day-to-day human life, there is no such thing. Like
Mm.
there is a huge decision fatigue, and like you have to actually go out and think about stuff, and pick your partner,
Mm.
and then even then you're not pretty sure if this is the partner that
If it has.
is your
Yeah.
Radha, or
Correct.
stuff like that. So do you think like there should have been some entanglement kind of stuff that was biologically put in by the gods, so that when you're born you have like a tattoo on your palm or something, and a girl with a matching tattoo is your girl.
So yeah, again, so if this would happen, then you would not put in any efforts to meet anyone new, right?
Mm.
So that element would just go out. You would not want to meet new people if you know that this is the person, etc., etc., etc. But again, yeah, there is a good part to it. There's a bad part to it. I just told the bad part. The good part to it is you save up on a lot of time,
Mm.
save yourself from a lot of bullshit,
Mm.
and put yourself to calm,
Mm.
right? So that's the negative part. That's the positive part. A yes or a no answer. Again, I would again say no to this, because in that process you meet a lot of people and you get to know what uh, are the real intentions of people, what they actually want, how is the trend right now. That's why I would say a no. But apart from that, yeah, I just told you the advantages of it if it's
Mm.
fixed from before.
Mm. I just have this quote from the book I'm reading recently. The book is
Mm-hmm.
like The Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl or something.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm just quoting from the book. It says, "Then I grasped the meaning of greatest secret that human poetry and human thought and belief have to impart. The salvation
Mm-hmm.
of man is through love and in love."
Okay.
So
Okay.
it kind of,
Mm.
yeah, says that the salvation is itself achieved through the love. So just for
Correct.
pretext context, so what
Mm.
he says this when he's remembering good moments with his wife and his
Mm.
wife's face when he is
Mm.
himself held captive in one of the Nazi camps in World War II. So
Mm-hmm.
he's literally going through hell right now, and the only thing that's
Correct.
kind of keeping him afloat is his memories of his wife.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
and that's when he says, "Ki,
He says this.
yeah, he, yeah." So they
Okay.
basically see a beautiful sunset, sunrise,
Mm.
and all
Mm.
he can see is his wife's face more brighter than the sunrise.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when he says, "Ki, the salvation is through love and in love." So I think if
Really.
something that big were to be, be a given in someone's
There.
life, I think a
Mm.
lot of the fun out of the life would be removed.
Correct.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm calling it a fun, being very bold here,
But
but yeah.
yeah, yeah, we I do understand the way you want to put it out there. But yeah, that's the I wanted to tell that I was just beating around the bush, but yeah, this is what I actually meant.
Hmm. Yeah. So the ultimate kind of conquest of your life, if it was given, then I think most of us would be, kind of bored. Anything basically given would become, less valuable,
Yeah.
kind of, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah. So this is the
Agreed.
book I'm currently reading, The Man's Search for
Mm-hmm.
Meaning. What's your favorite book of all time or books?
So, to be honest, I'm not a very big reader.
Mm-hmm.
I do read here and there, but a book, it's mostly books which are non-fictional and real. Most of them are autobiographies, and yeah. So the book which I really enjoyed and I really liked and learned a lot is from the Steve Jobs book, How to Think Like Steve Jobs. If that book did tell me, how actually legends think, how things are. Again, it's not something that comes out of a story, but it just tells you that how someone who had nothing and created the best thing in the world, how he thought, how he failed, how he grew. So that's a book which I loved.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Do you read any fiction?
Fiction, man, not really. Fiction, if you see, what was that book which literally blew the mind out of us?
Oh, the
Peop-
Verity.
y- yeah, Verity.
uh,
So
yeah,
I think.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah,
really
that
a
that
talking point book.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's not a talking point book.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes to reading, not much. Sometimes here, sometimes there, sometimes audiobooks. But
Mm.
yeah, if I had to choose one book, it would be Steve Jobs and How to Think Like Steve Jobs. Both of
Mm.
them.
Mm.
Both of them are legendary books.
Nice, nice. And yes, yeah, you have grown up mostly in different places, not in India, basically.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yes.
childhood really has like a big impact on how people become who they are, and the
Hmm.
way kids are brought up in India is very different from how they are brought up in the rest of the world. At least as to what I know.
Shown.
Yeah, I've shown
Yeah.
and what I know from the various sources. So, do you
Yeah.
actually think there is a difference, or is it just all made up for Netflix and all the part for propaganda and stuff?
So, to this answer, I would to this question, there are basic. I would say the answer is how the family really functions. If the family is someone who would want their children to follow the Indian tradition and how things are followed in India, it is very similar in that case. So for me, my family, we made sure that how people are brought up in India and how people and how we were brought up is similar. Maybe not as strict as things are in India, but maybe very, very similar. Be it the routine that we follow, be it the number of times we go out, be it the number of times we ate outside, it was very similar. So again, what TV shows they show is really extravagant families, who are very, 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 very well off. When I say very, 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 very well off, they tend to be the bigada hua kids, I would say. So yeah, that's how it is. But from my friends, I would say all my friends over here means in Saudi, and people who have grown up with, they are very similar to how children have been brought up in India. They have had a very similar childhood when it comes to the routine that they follow. Maybe, yeah, the way they think, the way they approach solutions, they might be different. That's because, yeah, we have had different situations to handle. So maybe that solution approach may be different. The amount of stress taken may be different, but apart from that, the way childhood is very similar. I would say the upbringing, the way things how children are brought up is very similar if it's an Indian family.
Hmm. Do you think this has like a bias because you are Indian and your family is Indian and you would kind of mingle with people that are kind of like you, and that's why I ended up with similar childhood story sharing friends?
E- Yeah, maybe yes. Most of my friends are Indians. I would say all my friends are Indians, except few here and there.
Uh,
Yes, it's because definitely we follow the same culture, we speak the same language. So that bias is always there.
mm,
But again, for me, I would I had this thinking that okay, I have Indian friends, but I stay somewhere outside. So it's good to know different nationalities, and fortunately, I had that chance of mixing with others, understanding how they live life and what is life to them. So yeah, it's a good exposure that people have. You get to know how different cultures they function, how things to be
mm,
told, what is taken as offense. Sometimes when you don't even mean it, some
mm,
people take offense. So yeah, where to be careful, etc., etc. A lot of things are learned
mm.
when you mingle with other communities and other nationalities more than communities. Yeah.
Yeah, so being brought up as an Indian abroad and having Indian friends there, and then moving
Mm-hmm.
back to India and having, you know, I don't want to say actual Indians, but
Mm.
people in India
People
as
who have
their
stayed there.
friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
So was that like a
Mm-hmm.
big difference, or could you be like, yeah, I mean, same guys, only one different?
Yeah, I would say same people. I would say
Yeah.
same people. I didn't feel that difference. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel that difference. There are some people who try and act to be different when they go from when they're Indians and they go from here or any other country to India. But the truth is they're very Indian, as much Indian as anyone who stays in India and who has been brought up in India. Some people they just act to be different, but
Mm-hmm.
the reality is everyone is the same. And personally I didn't feel the difference.
Nice. Yeah, that's a pretty good thing, I guess.
Hmm. Yep, yep.
The Indian parents are actually, holding on to their kids' minds and making sure they're like actually Indians, even though they're not growing in India. That kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, much needed. At
Yeah.
least that's what happens in Asia.
Uh,
I'm not sure what happens in US and other parts, but yeah, at least in Asia, this is what happens.
nice, nice. Yeah. I actually have a lot of other things to talk with you, like where
Hmm.
did you get your. We didn't even touch on the gym part. Gym was like a slight part
Yep,
of that corporate convo we had. So I
yep,
would actually want to take some more time to explore the gym and your gym motivations. And
right.
there are other topics like long distance relationships and
Hmm.
yeah, there is a couple of more topics I would want to talk with
Okay,
you. But I
okay.
think I'll have you on again for
Yes, that would be
another
good. We'll do
episode.
part two for this.
No, no.
Yes, I'm up for it.
There is
Okay,
no part one, part two. There is just part
okay.
end. Like I don't think you'll stop.
Uh-huh.
You're not a two-time guest. You are a recurring guest. Yeah,
That's good to know.
yeah. And I mean
Yeah.
the geography or the location, the life is
Mm,
life. Our life is kind of like taking huge shifts right now. So I
correct,
think like there would be a lot of things that we would want to talk about. Oh, and also
correct.
one of the main things I had about the most huge problem that most of us will be facing right now of
Mm-hmm.
having this confusion as to should I stay here, should I move on to a different place, or should I
Correct.
study more, or should I be starting my own venture, or should I just leave this,
Yeah.
go on a solo trip, or should I just call my friend and
Mm,
talk about it,
right.
things. Yeah, so I want to have a detailed thing about that also. So yeah,
Okay.
let's have
We'll do that.
one more
Yes.
of many more, and
Yes. So,
take those stuff up. And do you have any remarks, comments, or if you want to promote anything, please, stage is yours.
mm, no, what I would say is thank you for having me. And I was not expecting that at this age I would be a podcast guest. More than age, this happened pretty quick, and I would like to congratulate you for taking up this initiative, and just going for it. Till a month back, you were just hearing, what month? Maybe a few weeks back, you were just hearing to podcasts, but doing this, taking out time and actually doing this, recording it, putting that on records and on Spotify is something not very easy. Editing it, so it takes time, a lot of effort. Thank you for doing this, and I wish to be a part of many more. And looking forward to the next one, and I hope
Yes.
it is very soon.
Yes, yes, definitely. I mean, we will record a lot of things together. And
Yes,
thank you
yes.
for all your kind words, and thank you for agreeing to come on here, even though I don't know what time zone you are in. And I am the annoying
Any day.
employee now calling you at wrong times. And
No, you're not the annoying employee. This is never work. This is just a very casual conversation, and
true, true.
I'm up for it anytime,
Yes,
anytime. This doesn't require any fixed time,
switching.
so I'm up for
True.
this anytime. Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes. So,
Thank you, Shriroop. Ladies and gentlemen,
okay.
Shriroop Roychoudhary.
Thank you, Akshay. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Maybe a good night. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye bye.